Howdy y'all, and welcome back. My name is Oliver the Shoe Man, and today we are going to be working on an old, beat up, about 20-year-old pair of Ferragamos. These have been resold before. They've seen some better days. These have been loved a lot. So we're just gonna bring them back, bring the color back, bring the soles back, heels. We're gonna do the whole 9 yards. On that inside, you can kind of see, there you go. You can see that the inside lining has busted. This is that piece right there. So it's busted. We're gonna replace that. Here is the one that I'm working on, the pair to that one. Let's see, the color has come back a little bit. Still gotta touch it up and tweak it. Did JR soles, and then we did some laser engraving on the waist of the shoe. So we laser engraved my logo, which is pretty cool. Something my wife has helped me out with. But yeah, so we're gonna go, oh, and then here's that back piece, that new back piece. But before we get into that, I'm going to do, it's a snow day here in Tennessee. So what I'm going to do, I want to take the opportunity, because we don't really have any customers today, but I don't know if y'all can see, but yeah, no, it's snowing. So I'm gonna show you guys around the shop. I moved it around a little bit, actually a lot of it. But I'm gonna show you guys kind of my workspace. I know I've been saying I'm gonna do a shop tour, so this is kind of a mini shop tour, but once I finish and get everything all organized, then we'll do a full shop tour, just one video for that. So let's show you around. All right, I just wanna start off with the front of the shop. How we don't get a lot of snow here in Tennessee, but we got quite a bit. We are in Smyrna, Tennessee, which is about 20 minutes near Nashville. So coming to the shop. Hold on, I gotta get the snow off my boots. All right, here we are. This is what you see. This is the front counter right here. Got some of my wife's merchandise. Those are custom leather engraved bolo ties. We got some keychains, hats. This is a hat that she did where she laser engraved leather, and those are hand painted gun patches, and then the rest are just embroidered patches that she designed. We got some examples. That is a Halloween collaboration we did with Thursday Boots. Some of the custom Birkenstocks that we've been making. A couple Thursday Boots. That one we did a collaboration with the Green Soles. And then yeah. And that's a sign my wife made for me. And then that's our main shop logo that she also did. She's very talented. That was my wife's grandfather, who moved the business from Mexico to California in 1973, I believe. A little small town called Visalia, where I was born and raised. Got a couple more retail boots that are brand new. Danners, Whites, and Thoroughgoods. A couple used pairs of boots. This is actually cool. This was the very first video I did. A pair of Danners. It used to be all black. I took them apart, did leather midsoles, the cream crepe soles. That's what they used to look like right there. But that was the first video I've ever done. Then come over here. This is my wife's work shirt. Also laser engraved white leather, and then the embroidered wings. Then you got some merchandise up here. Some cool boot jacks. Some boot trees. all of our laces. And then you swing around some more shoe trees, shoe stretchers, boot jacks, horns, brushes, socks, jewelry, our insoles, all the brushes. And then you got some belts here. We got some denim belts that I made myself, lined them with leather. Then you swing over to here, just some more leather care products. And this is where my wife has showcased most of her work. Everything you see here, she's made. The hat, the leather patches, embroidered straight to rats. That was for Halloween that she did. Some cool things. Some beanies. Some little, what do you want to call them? What are those called? I forgot, I'm spacing the name, but I'm sure y'all know. A little tic-tac-toe game she made, a whole bunch of cool keychains. Now this shoe is pretty cool. I was at a thrift store in my hometown, Visalia, and I found this. We think this is a example that shoe sellers used to carry around to show stores what they could sell because it's so small. But it has our hometown in there, so definitely got that and a cool addition to the shop. Yeah, there we go. This goes back to my workspace. And then this is a cool little window. Oh, and then another hat that my wife made. This goes back into the workspace. So when you come in here, you can see us working and all the different things. Yeah, so that's the front retail space. All right, I'm not gonna show you my sewing area because it's a mess right now. Basically everything I moved from the shoe repair side that I don't use got put into the sewing area, so that's gonna get cleaned and organized some more. So I'll show you the sewing, the shoe repair side right now. So I'll start from the front counter. This is what we see when we're helping people. And come in here, we got some finished shoes, some shoes we gotta work on. Now this is my main workbench right here. Got the heat lamp, some soles, mid-soles, some half soles. Got some shelves that I start working on. Heels, this is a 5-in-1. This is how we cut and skive leather and then also press the welts together. We got a press here, a little rolling cart to help as I'm working on shoes. This is gonna be the second workbench. Haven't finished this one yet because I don't have a second person to work here. But just another little workbench. This is the heel wheel. And then this is our finisher. One of them at least. You got the sanders and buffers. All right, so we got our brushes, our sanding wheels, a little chair for when I eat lunch. That goes into the sewing area. This is an auto solar. It's to help nail heels, but I don't really use that anymore. And I got some, pretty much my workload, and then more over there. So we just put them in bins and get them done. This is gonna be a third workbench for hopefully in the future we get someone else working in here. Not set up yet, obviously. And then we got my main finisher. We got brushes, different style wheels, and then a trimmer. And then all the shoes that I'm working on now. Some soles up there. And then we're back to my workbench. Now this is my Landis L, which right now is kind of out of commission. The pedal's broken, but I got a new pedal, so we have to kind of flip this thing on its side so it can get underneath that base and fix it. So I gotta get a couple buddies to help me out with that. This is my Geneva Bosch stitch, lock stitch. Sews the shoes from the inside, which you'll be able to see from in the video. I'll show you guys that. We got all our sewing supplies, some leather welts, gemming welts, so everything that we need for this kind of section here. And this is my Landis K, which is pretty good. The only thing is right now the depth, what do you want to call this depth guide that controls how far in that you stitch. The little lock, there's supposed to be a wing nut right here that holds it back so you can adjust it, but it's snapped off on the inside. The machine is so old, when I went to go tighten it, it snapped and sheared the bolt. So I'll show you guys on the Landis L. See, that's what it's supposed to look like. So I gotta drill and tap that out, and that machine will be in full force. But now we're back here. So yeah, that's just a little look into my shop. So we're gonna get started on these just by removing the insoles. These have been resoled before. Not the correct way, but not in a bad way, if I'm being honest. I mean, you're supposed to stitch the soles on. You can see on the inside there's a stitch line from the original soles. Put guys down here where you can see, but they just glued it on. I mean, they did a full sole, which is nice. Most cobblers just do half soles, and that plastic heel block is about to fall off, so I'm going to just, whoever glued this really glued it on. So I mean, you don't really need to, I guess you didn't need to stitch it, because especially if you glue it like this, man. But yeah, it's always good. I always like to stitch it. If I can, then I will. But yeah, no, this is gonna be it. They glued it on very well. I'll give them that. So I'm gonna get this off, and then we're gonna start to lightly sand. As you can see, the edges, there's that black line where they put black edge dressing, and they got it on the shoe. So we got to get that off, because it's supposed to only be on the edge of the sole, not on the uppers. Got the old sole off, and this is what we got left with. Now, before we start cleaning and conditioning and recoloring the uppers, I want to take care of this back portion here, where that heel is messed up. So we have to unstitch this top binding right here and take the footbed out so we could tuck it up underneath it like it was supposed to. So we got a couple nails in the back holding that piece in. So we're gonna just take those out. Alright. This piece just comes out like this. And that's all you have. The rest is, I believe this is called a moccasin construction, where you have the upper start at the bottom and wrap up and get stitched to here. So it's this upper leather is what you're actually walking on underneath here, and then you have this piece in the back that gives it structure. Then you put the sole on, stitch it, and that's what you have. That's what you call a moccasin construction, if I'm not mistaken. So now we have to cut this top stitch right here, which, where's my knife? My knife's right here already. So you kind of got to be careful with this, but that's just one stitch one stitch holding it into place. You don't want to cut the leather, because I don't want to have to replace that top binding there. Oh, well, would you look at that? It ripped. So we're gonna have to replace this back piece now, which I guess is no problem. It just poses more of an issue. Now I have to try to find a leather that'll match that color. as best as possible and try to skive it in so that you won't really be able to tell where the new piece starts. But I'll figure it out. Alright, so now that we got this top piece undone, we're going to go ahead and go on the inside and cut the stitching that holds that back heel lining in. I'm trying my best to show you guys, but it's kind of difficult when you're working on the inside of the shoe. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this thing out because I don't want to sit here and bore you guys. So we are at this stage right now. I've got a last inside the shoe. It's not the same size last. I'm just using it to stretch out this heel portion, the heel counter, not heel counter, but the back of the shoe. I took this back piece off. And you can see it's got that crease right there. And so what I'm doing is I wet the leather with some stretching solution, and I stretched over the back of this heel of the last, and that's going to kind of straighten out. This is, you can kind of see it's still got that indentation in it, but it's a lot better than what this originally started out with. So that's what we're doing. I'm gonna go get that foam. So at this stage, we have stripped, I haven't dyed yet, that's what we're about to do, but I have stripped and lightly sanded the uppers. I got as much as that edge dressing off as I could. There's a little gash right there. I don't want to sand too much, but I did as much as I can. When we go to dye over it, it'll look a little bit better, but that's where we're at right now. So I mixed together a acrylic leather dye, and what we're just gonna do is do a light coat. We've also put that new piece in there. I haven't stitched it in, it's just glued in, so I'll end in this piece in the back. There's that new binding, and this is the piece that tore. So we're gonna dye that to match the rest of the shoe. I just take a little sponge. You don't want to do too heavy of a coat, because then it'll just look bad and look like you painted it on and caked it on. So you don't want to cake it on. We're just gonna go around the shoe. Just make sure, like I said, it's not caked on. Oh, and the shop has closed, and I was getting hot, so I took my shirt off. So now this is what my undershirt is. That's what I have on. Usually I try to keep it on, but I'm a little hot right now, even though it's snowing outside. Yeah, that black edge dressing that was on there, that was hard to get off. I tried to I stripped a lot of it off with acetone, but I ended up having just to sand it off basically with some fine grit sandpaper. So I finally got off. I don't know what it was. It was like a leather. It was like a leather dye that they used that soaked into it. So this back piece is gonna take a couple coats till it blends in. I sanded the finish off of it, but nevertheless, it's a new piece, and so I'm gonna put a light coat on there let it dry. Go back around and check if there's any caked areas. A lot of that cracking did go away when we sanded it. Now we gotta get this top piece. This little horse bit or buckle, whatever you want to call it, is always kind of difficult to deal with when dyeing and cleaning and conditioning. So I'm gonna get, you do get some of the dye on top of it, but after I'm done, I'll be able to wipe it off. It'll make it look like it was never done, never even touched. Alrighty. Just check around to see if I missed any spots. I glued that back piece on. It's just glued on for now. So once all these pieces, it'll kind of get stitched all together in place. And you won't be able to tell it was ever taken apart, which is the goal. This inside binding is kind of difficult, but we'll make it work. I skived the two ends where the old binding, the binding is this top piece, so I skived it where they meet the two opposite ends, like we're doing new welts. And so I mean, you can see the seam still, but it's not as bulky as if you had two pieces of leather coming together that were unskived. All right, so I think about done for the base coat. It looks a whole lot better. So now we're going to restitch. Well, obviously we gotta let this dry, but we're gonna restitch this whole back piece, go from there all the way up, restitch this top binding in, and then we'll be able to put the footbeds in back into that point, and then we will be ready for the soles, and we are coming along. Like I said, we'll clean that off with some acetone, but we're gonna let this dry for now. All right, so we got our footbed in, that new piece in the back all stitched, this back end all stitched up. We got that new binding at the top all dyed. I'll probably do another round color touch-ups once we have the soles on, but now it's time to get the sole on. I'm gonna try my best to center everything, trying to get that center logo right there where it needs to be. Get that right there. Make sure the JR is centered as well. Looks good to me. All right, so the next step is put this in the press, trim it, stitch it, continue the dye job, or do the bottom stain like that, make the heels, and then reattach everything back together. So these are coming along very nice. Oh yeah, and then also gotta clean the dye off that buckle, but I'll take care of that for sure. Okay, so after we trimmed it, we did a little bit of, we grooved that channel for the stitches to countersink, did a little bit of a dye job. We're now ready to stitch. Now this is that sewing machine my lock stitch that I had told you about in the beginning of the video during the shop tour. It sews from the inside out. So we're gonna slide it in, get it ready to go. Start the first stitch. We got red thread here in the top, black in the bottom, but it doesn't really matter what the bottom looks like because that's going to be covered up anyway. So just gonna get the first stitch started. Like I said, first one's always the difficult one. There you go. And now turn that on. Around the toe, you gotta be careful. This machine likes to break the thread right around the toe. Why it's doing that. Skip the stitch right there. I don't know why it's doing this. Like we didn't do too bad. I mean, we got a skip stitch right there, but other than that, it turned out pretty fine. We'll clean everything up, and get ready for the heel bases. Okay, we're coming to an end here. What we did one more color touch up. Still have to clean the buckle. I burnished the edges. I just have to get the excess dye off from the dye in the uppers, but burnished the edges. We made our new heel bases out of leather. We cleaned up that inside portion there. It's all level, all good to go. We just got to stick it on. Make sure it's placed properly. Centered. So I was just pressing the edges of the sole down to the heel base. Now what we're gonna do is nail it from the inside, do a final trim, final cleanup, polish, and these are good to go. So here we are. We've got heel blocks on, trimmed, burnished. Now the last step is going to be recoloring the edges. We burnished the edges already, but we got a little bit of the dye on the edges, and plus you can see light color coming from where the sole is. So what I'm going to be doing is taking some dye, black dye, with a small paintbrush and going and touching up all that color there, all the light color that you see. So it's all black and you don't see any light color. So it's gonna take me a little bit, but I'm just gonna sit here, take my time, and take care of it. We are finished with these shoes. These turned out very nice. Very, very nice. A lot better than what they were before. If you guys don't remember, you can go to the beginning or I'll put a picture of the before pictures. Now, there is a lot of, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a lot of, oh, well, you can't really tell. In person, there's a lot of cracking. Let's see, I think this is the one right here. You can see all that cracking. I did my best. I sanded it lightly. I don't want to sand too much to where you're making the leather too thin, but because right there's a hole right there, and then there's not much you can really do besides put a patch over it, but it's not gonna look the best. But we did our best there. The paint really, the leather dye really hides it. And then, let's see, I'll show you guys. See if I can show you the heel linings. Those new heel linings. That's what they used to be. They had a big old crack, and it's just from wear, using them over and over again, walking in them. Sometimes your heels slip and it starts to wear a hole in the back. But overall, not too bad. There's our little laser engraved logo. This heel, man, I'm gonna tell you, it was a pain in the butt to get that, to clean up the inside. It was a pain in the butt. I used the Dremel tool, but I didn't have the right attachments, so it was a pain, but I'm glad these are finished. Thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions about a repair that you need done, you can contact me through either of the ways down below, the little description. Oh yeah, these are the old soles. Someone had resold them before. And then those are the heels. They had plastic heel bases. I replaced it with leather, so it'll last a lot longer and it'll be a lot more stronger than the plastic. But yeah, if you have any questions about a repair, you can always email me or hit me up on Instagram. Or I put my phone number, the business cell phone, and you can always call and text that number as well. So thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. God bless y'all.